We went to high school together.
Speak of the devil.
Welcome to CHW Studios, and today we are going to be recapping the movie Malice. Our story opens at a women's college in Massachusetts, where a student returns home from class to find an intruder waiting. The stranger attacks her, and she is rushed to St. Agnes Hospital with serious injuries. This assault is the latest in a series of similar attacks around campus. Professor Andy Safian discusses the problem with Detective Donna Harris, complaining about the lack of campus security, though Donna says there's only so much she can do. In the OR, the situation is tense, as Dr. Matthew Robertson worries the girl may not survive, but the surgeon in charge is new. Dr. Jed Hill manages to save her life and impress his colleagues. After the surgery, Jed says it feels good to join their team, though behind his charming smile lies a darker side. Matthew approaches Jed to praise his work, admitting he was wrong to doubt him during the operation. But Jed reprimands him in a menacing tone, saying differing opinions are fine, but not during major surgery when a patient's life is at stake. Jed warns Matthew will deeply regret it if he ever does that again. Andy also chats with Jed to thank him for saving the student. They realize they went to high school together, though Jed doesn't remember Andy since he was more popular. An interruption by Nurse Tanya shows Jed still has a way with women, unlike the now happily married Andy. Andy's wife Tracy is a teacher, indicating their household is not wealthy. In the elevator, Jed's fancy suit highlights Andy's lower status. Dr. Sullivan is hosting a reception to welcome Jed, inviting Andy and Tracy, who cite fake plans to avoid spending money. At home, Andy balks at the plumber's estimate and decides to do the work himself. Tracy suggests renting their third floor. He makes Tracy promise her friend Helen will drive her home that night. Andy watches from the window as a man, not Helen, drops Tracy off. Stirring both jealousy and curiosity, Tracy explains it's her mother's lawyer handling estate paperwork. Andy wonders about an inheritance, but Tracy says it's insignificant. They move past the tension and share a light moment over Chinese food. However, Andy abruptly turns off the lights when he notices their creepy neighbor's son watching them again. Days later, Jed visits Andy struggling with home renovations and compliments a Degas painting Tracy inherited. Over lunch, Andy opens up about the campus attacks, their fertility struggles, and needing help with the house. Soon, Jed moves into their third floor, despite Tracy's protests that he's arrogant. Andy wants Jed's medical opinion on the fertility issues and admits sharing Tracy's information, angering her further. Her anger is short-lived. She and Andy both make allowances. Andy shows less patience with Dana Harris when she visits without progress on the attacks. He mocks the idea of more pamphlets as a solution. A disturbing detail emerges. The attacker cuts each victim's hair and takes it. Overhearing the neighbor, Tracy learns her voyeuristic son, Billy, has a nursing job. Tracy's early objections to Jed prove valid as he becomes an obtrusive tenant. Andy envies Jed's energy. Still jogging after entertaining a nurse all night. At work, Andy is shocked when the student misses yet another exam. He calls the secretary to reach her, but no one answers. Deciding to check on her in person, as professors have time for such things. Andy heads over. Though well-intentioned, his paternal instincts are dealt a tragic blow upon finding blonde hair and an open back door. A shoe in the front yard points the way to a horrific discovery. When police arrive, Andy can barely speak with Dana. Seeking to drown his sorrow at a bar with Jed proves an unwise choice. As the insensitive doctor makes callous jokes, Andy leaves, but Jed stays with some women. The next day, a nasty surprise. All three victims had visited Andy, making him a suspect. Though believing in his innocence, Dana knows her personal opinion won't sway a judge like physical evidence would. Meanwhile, Tracy suffers severe pain and calls 911. Doctors must remove an ovary. Jed gets paged and learns she's pregnant. Just after Andy's cleared by a sample at the station, he's called about the emergency. Jed reports the surgery and loss of the baby, plus a problem with the remaining ovary. Meaning a tough choice for Andy. Removing it ends parenthood dreams, but leaving it is risky. Andy says to save her, but the operating room reveals the ovary may be viable after all. Bravely, Matthew argues to wait for test results. Jed balks, shocked at the suggestion. Tracy berates him until he slaps her in anger. She shoots him dead. At Billy's home, Tracy tells Andy she has the money and to meet her in 15 minutes. After he leaves, she breaks in, intent on killing Billy, but in his room, she finds only a dummy. Andy appears and they struggle. A nurse dressed as Billy's mom stops Tracy from bashing Andy's skull. The blind neighbors return home as Tracy is arrested. Her scam has failed completely.